UFC just announced some crazy fights upcoming for the next few events, and we're going to be starting right here with Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. This is the fight we have all been waiting for. The press conference will be absolutely insane. The fight will be absolutely incredible. Khamzat the Wolf, Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland coming off of that big win against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Chimaev winning the title against Dricus du Plessis, DDP. And we saw DDP beat Strickland twice, but this is a totally different matchup. Chimaev is going to absolutely start just shoot right away against Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland will be sure to have, kind of the striking advantage here in this fight. He may have that cardio advantage in this fight. And right now, I'm leaning Khamzat Chimaev to win this thing. But this fight will be an absolute scrap. I was waiting to find out, what's going to happen in between UFC Miami, Carlos Ulberg versus Yuri Prohaska, and the UFC White House card. And this is the fight that I have been waiting for. Newark, New Jersey. I might be at this event. I might have to dive into the pockets and buy some tickets here for this one. This one is sure to be an incredible scrap. I mean, the lead up to the fight might be even better than the fight. And I think the question we're kind of waiting to see is, can Sean Strickland defend the takedowns, right? We've seen Sean Strickland have great defensive wrestling against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in his last fight. Someone who has kind of a similar style to Khamzat Chimaev, but Khamzat Chimaev has absolutely perfected that style. And we know Chimaev and Strickland have trained with each other before. And so this one is going to be an absolutely exciting war. And Strickland we know the things that Strickland has already been saying against Chimaev, right? Strickland has been saying, he sounds like McGregor when he does, this guy's a terrorist. He's a terrorist. He can't be allowed into the country. And for the longest time, he was right about Chimaev. Chimaev just had his first fight in the United States. He had visa problems. Dana White had to go to Donald Trump to get him to say, hey, we need this fighter to be able to fight in the United States. And so Dana White made sure through the conversations with Trump that could happen. But man, this fight is going to be an incredible one. The Prudential Center is in for a blessing. And you see people saying press conference will be canceled immediately, right? Paramount is going to have a wire under Sean Strickland's mic ready to cut it at any moment. Strickland is going to be saying some wild things about Chimaev. You even heard Dana White in his announcement say, like, man, how much security are we going to need for this one? And I'll give you the answer, Dana White, a whole freaking lot. And I just want to pan over to this Twitter. Look at this. Look at Dana White announcing these fights, right? I just want to say I'm so happy that the UFC announced fights in this manner. They posted this on all platforms, announcing fights in a semi-hype way. This stuff I've been waiting for moments like this, but still, Dana White, look at him. Look at that bald head. Look at him. I just want to be gambling right now. Get me to the blackjack table with Steiny, and everything will be so much better. Man, Dana White looks miserable. We can't even drag Dana White 15 minutes into these announcements so that he can give us some hype. Instead, he's just like, well, we got Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. What do you think about this one, Bisping? And then Bisping is pouring his heart and soul out, trying to get these. Listen to this. Bisping is the one who's getting these guys hype. If we go back here, Dana White looks miserable. He's like, hey, can we get a time check? How much longer do I have to sit here in this chair to announce these fights? God damn it. Enjoy your job, Dana White. Freaking do something. Other than sit at the fucking blackjack table. That's all Dana White wants to do is sit there and gamble with Steiny instead of give me some fire to announce an amazing fight like Chimaev versus Strickland. This one is sure to be a banger, but we also got the rest of the UFC 328 card, and this one is going to be a good one, right? Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland at the top of the bill. A great fight. Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. The winner of this fight, I imagine, will be fighting the winner of... So we're going to see Poatan versus Cyril Gane. We're going to see the winner of that versus Aspinall. The winner of this fight, I imagine, will be fighting the winner of the Aspinall and that interim title fight. Right? Waldo Cortez Acosta has looked absolutely incredible, taking on anyone, anywhere, at any time, beating Ante Delia, beating Derek Lewis, coming in with absolutely huge performances. We've loved the salsa boy, Waldo Cortez Acosta, the former minor league baseball player. Volkov beat Cyril Gane, right? And Cyril Gane is now fighting for that interim title. He didn't actually beat him. You know, we all know he beat him, but he didn't beat him on the official scorecards, and so that's why we're in this spot right here. So a great fight in that co-main event at heavyweight, a welterweight bout, Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. I was asking for this fight. Why is it in the Apex? This fight was supposed to be an Apex main event. Instead, we're getting this fight on UFC 328. You know Joaquin Buckley likes to sell fights. You know Sean Brady is willing to take on anyone, anywhere, coming off of a big loss against Michael Morales. Is Joaquin Buckley able to put Sean Brady away the same way Michael Morales was? Or is that Philly man, Sean Brady, going to show off the wrestling? An absolute great fight there as well. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Bogdan Guskov and Jan Blachowicz, we've seen this fight before. They fought to a draw in the past, and so let's get this fight back together. I mean, I wasn't absolutely dying to see this fight, but, you know, I asked for the Volkov-Acosta fight. You know, I said we might as well rematch Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. So I think the UFC is listening to me. They're listening to some of my heavyweight fights. If you go back to my heavyweight and light heavyweight, you know, what we should do with these divisions, how we fix them, I put these two matchups together. And so I'm very, very happy that they are together. But I'm hoping that the UFC adds a little bit more to this card because as I love Bobby Green coming off of that big win against Daniel Zellhuber. Jeremy Stephens, an absolute dog. We saw him fight at UFC Iowa. In his hometown, right? Re-signed to the UFC. Jeremy Stephens has done things like bare-knuckle boxing. This guy is an absolute savage. But this is just really not that great of a fight that we put together, right? King Green, I believe, is going to absolutely... Bobby Green is going to absolutely dismantle Jeremy Stephens. And I believe, you know, that would be a great, you know, potentially featured prelim or even an opener for the prelim to get butts and seats a little bit earlier. And then a Teba Gutierrez versus Ozzy Diaz. We were supposed to see this fight. Ozzy Diaz had to pull out via injury. Honestly, I don't know why Teba Gutierrez keeps being fed these absolute cans. I want to see Teba Gutierrez move up in the division, not keep fighting these guys. I know they're trying to build him, but this isn't even a slight step up in competition. Ozzy Diaz is just a lamb out there to slaughter. Give me Ozzy Diaz get absolutely dismantled by Teba Gutierrez. I think King Green beats Jeremy Stephens. I think Guskov and Jan Blachowicz is an absolutely close matchup. We'll have to see the odds on that fight to see who I want to take. I'm initially leaning that Brady is going to be able to control Buckley on the ground, but Buckley could always get that big KO. And I may be picking with my heart here, but I want my boy Waldo Cortez Acosta to win. And initially, I'm leaning Chimaev to get it done versus Sean Strickland. But man, I'm super excited to see the build up to this fight. Oh boy, is that press conference going to be awesome. And so, moving onward, the UFC also announced some other fights. Aljamain Sterling versus Youssef Zalal in a main event at the Apex. Let's get the Apex done with. I love Aljo. I know he's not the most entertaining fighter at times, but this man should not be in the freaking Apex. A former champion. I wanted this guy on the White House card versus Volk. I know we got a big matchup versus Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy coming up, and I know Evloev is having huge visa issues, and so stay tuned for my video. We're gonna see a big step up on short notice for one of these guys, but you see the Funkmaster's comment right here. This is high-level MMA chess. Both of these guys are very, very, very talented. Youssef Zalal coming off of that armbar victory. I think people don't give Youssef Zalal enough credit for how good he is on the ground. But Aljamain Sterling, especially at 145, I believe he has some of that lighter man skill. I believe Aljamain Sterling is going to get the job done against Youssef Zalal. And this is a great fight. Dana White, Michael Bisping said, you know, the winner of this fight could potentially be in that title picture really quick. And so I hope Aljo wins this fight, and I do believe Aljo will get this fight done. Moving onward. Beneil Dariush escaped the matchup of doom. Originally, he was supposed to fight Manuel Torres. We all knew Beneil Dariush was just a lamb out to slaughter in that fight. He was going to be absolutely killed, but now he's He's fighting another killer in Quillan Salkid. Quillan Salkid coming off a big submission victory over, I believe, was Jake Matthews. Quillan Salkid also had that big head kick KO against Nasrat Hakparas. And you see the comments, rip Dariush. What did Dariush do to deserve this treatment? And that is right. Dariush was in there against Charlie Olives not too long ago. We were talking about Dariush potentially, fighting for a title. Dariush had an 8-fight win streak in the UFC. And he has been on a downward slide since then, fighting absolute killers, guys who just put people away in the first round. And you know that's Dariush's nemesis, that's his weakness. I believe Quillan Salkid is a little bit too talented for Dariush, and a big spotlight here for Quillan Salkid in the freaking Perth co-main event. And the main event of that fight is Carlos Prates versus not Jake Matthews, Jack Della Maddalena. That is going to be an absolute war as well. I'm really looking forward to this Perth, Western Australia card. And for the first time, Perth, Western Australia, you are getting the fight on Saturday night instead of Sunday morning. That's the work that Paramount is doing for you all. And so Dariush versus Salkid, I'm going to take Salkid to win this matchup. Moving onward, what else do we have? We have Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. Melquizael Costa coming off of that huge spinning back kick to the dome against Dan Ige, a first-round KO, and so he's getting a chance to move up in the division. And if you watched my fights or my predictions video of what should happen after that fight, I matched up Melquizael Costa versus Arnold Allen. I think this is a perfect fight. This gives Arnold Allen an opportunity to potentially get back on track. We know how talented Arnold Allen is. Had a really competitive fight with Max Holloway, who's an absolute killer on the feet. Melquizael Costa has had some ups and downs in the UFC, but is now on a 6-fight win streak. And so in the main event, you have the Mean Machine, Steve Garcia, saying, yo, this fight is wild. This is an absolute banger. I love this scrap. I don't know why it's in the Apex. Please, UFC, why do we still have fights in the Apex? But nonetheless, a great scrap and really looking forward to this one. I think I got Arnold Allen coming out on the right side of this one, slowing down Melquizael Costa's winning streak, but this is going to be a great scrap. Moving onward, the main event in UFC China, UFC Macau. We got Song Yadong versus Deiveson Figueiredo, the former champ. Song Yadong, an opportunity to potentially get back on track here versus Deiveson Figueiredo, Song Yadong coming off of that big loss to Sean O'Malley. Was a competitive fight though. Deiveson Figueiredo has been outclassed at certain points in bantamweight, but the former flyweight champion has great power in his hands. And so we have some other fights here on this card as well. We have Zhang Mingyang versus Alonzo Menafield. I think this is a great scrap. We've seen Alonzo Menafield put out early by guys like Carlos Olberg. Zhang Mingyang coming off of a big loss to Johnny Walker. And so I believe Zhang is going to win this fight, but this is a great scrap at light heavyweight. The Chinese fans are in for an absolute treat here, and I think Zhang Mingyang will get it done by KO, but Alonzo Menafield is no joke here. And then moving next, we got Sergey Pavlovich taking on Talison Teixeira. And I'm going to like this comment right now. Why is Talison Teixeira getting such a big step in competition? He barely beat Tai Tuivasa. He lost to Derek Lewis. Sergey Pavlovich is such a high-level fighter in the heavyweight division. We've seen him have great scraps. We saw him on that huge knockout streak. Tom Aspinall may have ruined a little bit of his momentum when they fought for that interim title in New York City. But man, Sergey Pavlovich is still a really good fighter, and I don't really understand why Talison Teixeira is getting this opportunity. We saw him gas out against Tai Tuivasa. I think Sergey Pavlovich absolutely puts Talison Teixeira away. I don't think this fight is particularly close, and so that is every fight that the UFC has just announced. Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev being the most important one, an absolute banger in the middleweight division. I am looking forward to this one. I cannot wait to break down this press conference after it happens. I can imagine Sean Strickland is going to be saying some wild things about Khamzat Chimaev. He's already started that kind of verbal war. And so, let me know what you think about these matchups in the comments. If you enjoy content just like this, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.